HartfordCT.com. Oh, yeah, it's a scorcher out here today.
I feel great.
I feel great. We feel great because we got a nice Mr. Machine. Mr. And we are protected from the elements by our giant Big Y radio deck, which is amazing every year.
Speak for yourself. That's not why I'm keeping cool.
Oh.
I have got a fresh piece of cabbage under my hat that was taught to me by Major League Baseball All-Star Rob Dibble. I did not believe this was an actual thing that would work, but you are correct, sir. Go to your local grocer, buy yourself a head of cabbage if you're coming out to the Travelers Championship. Rip you off a leaf and put that and it really does fit your dome pretty perfect. It's almost like God made cabbage for this.
Yeah.
And you put that under your head, dude, it's instant cool off. And I did not believe this was going to be a thing.
And you've had it on for an hour now, or about 45 minutes.
I haven't even realized that I've had it on the whole time.
That's the genius of it.
Right, it is genius.
John Ashmead, do you still have yours on?
Oh, yeah.
Is it still good?
He's got his cabbage. Yeah, he's got his cabbage. Now, it is a little stinky, and I wasn't.
Hey, you know what? I can't control what happens to the cabbage once it's on your dome. That's your own thing. Now, John Ashmead is putting it in the mister right now and kind of helping it out. Listen,
if anybody wants some cabbage, we got other
You could put that cabbage on ice.
It's
and
on
pull
ice.
it out later.
It's
so
on
you
ice.
put it in the ice?
Yeah.
All right, so pull it out later and then try it with some ice.
I also got my ice towel on.
There
now,
you go.
My old wives' tale that I brought to the show yesterday was freezing your underwear. And I do have my frozen underwear on.
I don't know if I want to freeze my private parts.
Now, the thing with frozen underwear, I think people were mistaken that you put in dry underwear. You don't put the underwear underneath the faucet.
No, not wet.
Do not put wet underwear in your
Don't make
freezer.
it a icicle pair of underwear.
Now, my freezer underwear stayed cold for probably 5 seconds, and I did not notice any difference when I came out here. I would say when it comes to cabbage in the hat versus frozen underwear, I will take cabbage of the hat every day.
Cabbage
of the
is a
week
win.
right now. It is hot out here, though, and everybody should know we set a record yesterday for the date in Connecticut, and it looks like that record might be broken once again here today. We do have a lot of patrons out and about. People are dressed appropriately. Some people aren't. Some people are.
Some people are in dark clothing, black tops, no hats. I don't understand it.
Gotta
You've
look
been
good,
warned.
though. You look great. I mean, you look great.
You do look great.
And you know, that's half the battle when you're out here, especially the females.
Lots of
look
sunscreen,
great.
ladies.
We're not talking about the females, ladies. You guys look great. It's the guys.
Yeah.
The guys that are hatless, the guys that are in all dark clothing, the guys that are wearing their long sleeve in their pants. I don't understand what you're doing. Maybe they got cabbage all over the place and we just can't see it. But it is scorching out here, and the golf is pretty hot too. We got
Ricky
some
Fowler
low
is pretty
scores,
hot
low
right
scores.
now.
So Akshay Bhatia, one of my new faves on the PGA Tour, he's at the top of the leaderboard, -6. Flat Bill Fowler, he's at the top of the leaderboard.
Mackenzie Hughes.
Didn't he used to pitch for the Yankees?
That was Phil Hughes.
Oh, it's his brother Phil. Good for him, man.
This guy thinks a Canadian, by the way. I don't know if Phil Hughes was Canadian.
Now, McKenzie's still on the course, right? He's still got some holes to play, I believe.
He is on 16, and so is Katayama.
Kurti Kamiyama right there at the top of the leaderboard. So some very low scores for our first couple of groups that have been out there. I was out here pretty early this morning hooking up our friends, the Metro Hartford Alliance, here at the radio
How'd that
deck.
go?
It went great, man.
Okay.
They had a bunch of people here talking about the biz of the Travelers Championship and the economic impact.
Well, I know there was like a conflict of shows and times.
Oh, we have, don't worry. Your
logistics, so
I'm
you
on
straighten it out?
I am running this radio deck, and if there's anybody here that's not supposed to be
From
here,
another state,
they
you're just
get
going to kick them out?
Swift boot.
Yeah.
Swift boot, sir. But we have had a lot of friends. Friends from Radio Land here in Hartford. Also, WFAN's done some shows, WEEI. But I also got a chance to see Akshay Bhatia's first couple of holes. It was Got Her Up, who really started the tournament off by himself at 8:05. But I noticed this one piece of info for everybody when it comes to the golf, the heat, and the roll of these greens and how it's playing right now. Akshay had a chip from about 50 out. And it was a thing of beauty, man. A little low runner, like a 7-iron, little punch and run. And I said when that ball hit the green, beautiful shot. That sucker was rolling pretty with good speed. And it just missed the cup, Dibs, by an inch. And then it never stopped rolling. and it just kept rolling. And it just kept rolling. And then he was like 3 yards off the actual green. So, like, you're getting a lot of roll out here. And with some of the course changes going from rough or from fairway to rough, I think that's really going to play today.
We got a great show lined up for you today, too, even though it's a short one, and we're starting at 1.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Yankees-Baltimore series.
Earlier.
They're going to start up at 4 o'clock, and so we'll be kicked off at 3:30. But we got Rich Beam. PGA champion from the early 2000s, Rich Beam, who works for Sky Sports Network, is here in Connecticut. He's here.
Right.
He is going to join us. So, Rich Beam, welcome to Connecticut. As always, he loves the Travelers. And then Gary Washburn from the Boston Globe is going to join us at 2:30. Right. We're going to talk about the Celtics parade celebration and all that, and raising banner number 18 in Boston. So we got a great show lined up for you, man. There's been a lot of different things going on, but of course, the Travelers, this is for keeps now. These scores matter. The Pro-Am is over. All the trucks with all the cool toys have left, and so now these guys are playing for money, and there is no cutsies, though. All 71 will start today, and all 71 will finish on Sunday, hopefully, and nobody has to withdraw.
And not just any money. The reason for the no cuts, the reason
signature
for
event.
Signature money. It is a signature event, so we got some signature money to pass out.
20 mil.
20 mil in total.
20 million.
I think it's over 4 for the first place finisher. 4. I don't know. They're going to be.
I don't know. That's how Andy Bissett's got to cut it up in the PGA. But here's the thing for me, Benny, is that I've been doing this for 10 years, and I used to always get on Travelers, Nathan Grube. Why can't you guys give more money?
Yeah.
Because their purse was always around $8 million, $9 million.
They couldn't outshine other tournaments.
They could not outshine the majors. They
Right.
could not give more than the PGA would allow. And
Right.
then finally, and this is probably one of the only good things about Live Tour coming online, is that they had to raise the purses around the country besides the majors for these signature events. And because so much charity money is raised by this, that's one of the biggest things by the PGA Tour. It's got to be a huge charity and charitable event. Travelers is one of the 8 that got the signature $20 million in purse, and it's going to draw more guys to come here and want to win this right after the U.S. Open.
And for good reason. I mean, the work that Grube and Bissett have been doing for over a decade now, with their relationship with the PGA, their relationship with the players, their relationship with the advertisers, with NBC, the Golf Channel, CBS, it was somewhat of a no-brainer to have the Travelers Championship as a signature event. But the one thing I can tell all the fans that are coming out here, besides the no cut, besides some of the changes to the course, besides the big money, I don't know the difference when I look out at the practice green. I see everybody getting autographs from these guys. When I see just hordes of people being, respectfully loud for great shots out here on the golf course. I'm just saying it hasn't been tampered down by the signature. Like, it hasn't had people's noses up in the air. It's not like a creme de la creme. It is still the Travelers Championship. It is still for the people of New England. It is still one of the most fun tournaments on tour. And I love what they did with the course already. I still have yet to get out to the full 18. But from what I've seen since we've been here on Monday, this is going to be the best year for the Travelers Championship.
Well, I mean, and getting back to your point about that, the one thing, the money's not going to change Andy Bissett and Nathan Grube. They're always going to put the fans first. They're always going to put this event out there, because when they took it over 20 years ago, it was dead. They were basically going to wipe it off the face of the planet. They were going to move it to another state, and Travelers saved it. And I grew up around it. Yep. My dad used to cover it when it was the Sammy Davis Jr. Greater Hartford Open. It was in Wethersfield. Even before that, I think it was like the Dinah Shore or something like that, going back to the 70s.
The Charles Nelson Riley Invitational?
Absolutely.
The Insurance City Open.
Yeah.
There it is.
So, it's gone through so many different transitions. And then when they took it over, they were like, listen, the only way we're going to make this a good event and a great event is to make it about the fans and draw the fans in here, and then that's going to raise the purse money, and it's also going to get more top 20, top 30, top 50 players to want to come here. Then Andy and Nathan went on their little thing 20 years ago and going to every other major event and talking to these guys, befriending these guys, getting this relationship with these golfers that they wanted to come here. and then treat their caddies and their families and everybody like royalty. And that so it kind of goes hand in hand. The fans get the best of both worlds. They're treated great here.
So true.
And the players are treated great here. And so, that's what the relationship's all about. And that's why, listen, the last 10 years coming out here, it's grown every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way the build out, the grandstands, these tents and stuff like that. Now because they've brought in so much money, things are free. You can now go into all these different tents and things like that are free, where they used to be all corporate.
Yeah.
So they basically, the John Q. Public has been able to get a lot closer to the players, where it used to be more corporate, because of their success.
I love this tournament. I think, too, like you were saying about the field, and Kurt tells me all the time, too, of what it used to be.
It was terrible.
It
was good, but here's the difference. It was when like people like Bob Hope and Sammy Davis, it was like movie stars came here to play.
That's what Kurt was saying.
Yeah,
the celebrities were the draw.
The celebrities were the
players.
draw, not the players. There was no players showing up here. There was not really a purse.
Somebody asked me this morning, like, who are the big names that are teeing off here early? And, like, I start thinking in my head, like, all right, what would you consider a big name? Because, man, like, I don't know. I'm a nerd, and I like a lot of the PGA players. To me, Akshay Bhatia is a big name. To me, Sahith Theegala is a big name.
That's different. I mean, some of these people around here, because of New York. See, New York is basically the East Coast Hollywood. They film a ton of movies here. Just talking to a gentleman, they do a lot of these different what's the network that we're talking about here? It's all these the Hallmark Network.
Oh, yeah.
So
we had
around
that
New England, they're
yeah.
constantly filming these Hallmark movies, all these other movies. So there's all kinds of stuff that have been going on here for like the last 40, 50 years. So, whether it's down by Greenwich, whether it's down by New York. So this is just, this is kind of a hub. A lot of people that work in New York live in Connecticut, and they want to see celebrities, not just golfers.
Well, the ones I gave them were Ricky Fowler, Scotty Scheffler. They were about to tee off, but then I just think to myself, and I stopped and I said, you know what? This is the 70 best PGA players. Like, I don't care what you think is the best. I know Rory bowed out.
Oh, you're not counting the live players.
I'm not
going to count
live
them
players.
out. Some of those guys are really good.
And that's what I said. That was my next thing.
They should be here.
Is that the field is great, and the only ones that you'll be wondering about is the schooling that you'll get that they are now live tour players and not PGA tour players.
Like, I miss Mickelson. I'm DeChambeau, some of those guys, because I used to always rag on that guy 5 years ago. Guy's got his guidebook out. He's got his thing out. He's an analytics guy. So some of these guys have basically changed the face of golf, and they're no longer allowed here.
But I love the field, man. I don't care if they're not here. I'm a Xander Schauffele fan, and he is going to have a huge gallery today. Ricky Fowler's gallery was humongous. Henry Bieniemy rode with me today in the Fox 97 van, and we could hear the Ricky Fowler gallery as we pulled in, knowing, he's got to be on one of the back 9 holes just because we can hear the roar, but we can't see the people. I think it's going to be a little bit more spread out. I would think Keegan Bradley all weekend long, as he's somewhat the New England fave around here. And I don't know, maybe some of the other big names. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler is going to have a gallery. But there's so much talent on the course. Watching the Golf Channel's predictions yesterday, they were saying it's going to be someone that you're not going to think of winning this tournament. Because of the heat, because of the field, there's a lot of things that can happen out here, and you might find yourself finding a new fan favorite out at the Travelers Championship in 2024 that you didn't think you would be a fan of before you got out here.
I agree. Listen, some of these guys, they're used to the heat. Depending on where they grew up, it's not going to affect them at all. But these guys, listen, they're athletes. They're going to deal with it. They're going to eat the right nutrition. They're going to have the right hydration.
That was another thing I was talking about last night, too, when I was trying to give some betting tips to some of the people that I know that I'm here and, are asking me what I think. And I'm like, dude, this is what you need to put into your system as far as your bet pot. It's hot. So any of the big boys that are on tour, any of the teeny-weeny squirts that are on tour, and any of those guys over 55 that are on tour, they're going to have a tough time. Right. And then I started thinking, there's not many. There's not many. Like, they're pretty much all athletes these days.
And they play outdoors, too. I mean, like,
they push their body to the limits.
Whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, I mean, whether it's football when they're doing these OTAs and stuff like that. I mean, God, going back to even when I was in high school, we would start working out in the summer for the fall sports, and you get used to it. You get used to the heat. So once these guys get out here, I mean, here's the thing: these guys got to play in long pants. That's the one thing. These pants, they probably have breathable pants, but
you can tell who the caddies are out on the
absolutely. The caddies are allowed to wear shorts. The players are not, so you will always know the pro players now. Starting on Thursday through Sunday.
Breaking news, save the drama for your mama. Kurt Kitayama has just tied it up. We have a 4-way tie already here at noon or 1 o'clock at the Thursday Travelers Championship. -6. That was another question I was asked yesterday. What do you think the final score is going to be?
-20.
-23 won it last year with Keegan Bradley. They changed the course to make it harder. I said 18.5 should be the number. And you're saying -20?
-20 is the start. I mean, some of these guys might go better than that.
But when I see these 4 -6s already, I'm thinking, oh, man, we might be on the low end. But, hey, it's going to get cooler.
Remember, they're starting in the
week.
morning. The afternoon group will show you what's going to happen, because once the course starts to get windy, dried out from the heat, it's a totally different monster. So right now, these guys are getting the properly watered greens, the fairways. Everybody that started at like 7, 8 o'clock this morning, they're enjoying the course. The guys that are sitting here right now on the practice green that are coming off and starting to